Hi, I am Zoe and we are the Williams family and we live on our sailboat Knowhere in the Caribbean. This episode is labeled Season 2 as this series is focusing on our 2020 to 21 cruising season. We will come back and fill in our earlier sailing adventures on our first cruising boat in the future. This first episode starts in Grenada in September 2020. It is the very start of our story for our new boat and focuses on us buying Knowhere while still living on our old boat, Bateau Soleil. In the summer of 2020, we sailed Bateau Soleil down to Grenada from Saint Martin, but with the pandemic raging, my sister decided to join us for another season since her university went remote. My brother was also going to join us soon for the same reason. However, our Gemini Legacy 35-foot catamaran was just too small for all of us, so we started looking for a larger, aiming about 40-foot, catamaran. My dad started looking through Yacht World, and a perfect cat for us showed up for sale, and he was sure he had seen it somewhere before. He looked up and saw it staring at him from the next dock.
The current owners of Knowhere, a couple from South Africa, had a new work opportunity to pursue in the UK and were keen to move. But the pandemic was making it hard to show the boat to the many folks who were interested in it, never mind get a sail done remotely. And we were incredibly lucky to find a boat so perfect so close. The day it was listed, I put in an offer, and after a little back and forth, we had a deal almost immediately. It was just meant to be. Now we had to wait. The survey, sea trial, and moving funds overseas remotely was all going to take a few weeks.
Grenada is considered a pretty safe place to be over hurricane season. Well, except for maybe these guys. So we occupied our time waiting for our new boat by exploring the island. We visited a number of sites, like Annadale Falls, which we all enjoyed jumping into, sometimes less gracefully.
We were staying at the pretty fancy Port Louis Marina. They even had a weekly market to cater to cruisers. We mostly spent the season there for the awesome internet, which allowed us to work remotely easily, but it was actually a really nice time spending a couple of months in the center of the capital.
One cool thing about St. George's is that it had a coding academy, which allowed me to take coding classes while we were there. The commute was pretty unique via dinghy ride, walk along the waterfront, and climb up the hillside. But it was pretty awesome they had this facility on such a small island.
The people behind the Coding Academy, along with other entrepreneurs in Grenada, are working to grow the local tech talent pool here and attract remote workers. There is a big opportunity for places like this as the world goes more remote. Can you imagine a better place to work? Or a better commute?
We also met a lot of cruisers in Grenada, including Simon, Kim, and Sienna, who was my age, on Britikin, who are vloggers. Link below. They introduced us to the kids' cruising community centered around the Phar Blue Marina in southern Grenada, where we spent a lot of time with the other kid boats. We sailed down to the southern coast to anchor in a bay nearby to be near the other families. We were also right next to another cruiser hangout, Whisper Cove Marina, where they had an entertaining open mic night.
What do we have here tonight? Basically, it's kind of a jam. We have a bunch of musicians who hang around here in the Hog Island, Clarksport Bay area, and we meet every Tuesday and try to make some music for you, and hopefully you will enjoy it.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, down, down. The flames went higher.
The dinghy parking lot gets really full on open mic night. We stayed at Whisper Cove for a few weeks, enjoyed their internet and view, and filled up our water. However, the area around Clark's Court had an outbreak of dengue fever, which is carried by mosquitoes. You can see them spraying for mosquitoes here near the marina. So we headed over a few bays near the large medical university in True Blue Bay. We picked up a mooring ball off the True Blue Resort, which let us use their wonderful pool, restaurant, and facilities. From there, we could walk to a local container park where they converted shipping containers into stores and restaurants. From True Blue, we explored even more of this island by rental car, including a national park halfway up the island where we could grab good burgers and see some monkeys. We also hiked to a couple of the Seven Sisters waterfalls on the other side of a cool ropes course that was unfortunately closed due to COVID-19. On one weekend, we also explored a few of the island's forts, including Fort St. George's overlooking the capital. We also drove up to Fort Matthew, which had some cool tunnels and a couple of unexpected residents.
Bats? Bat. Back to the face.
Just about.
We came close a couple of times.
Yeah, we went the other way. Pete and I even celebrated a belated 20th anniversary with a weekend away at the super fancy La Luna Hotel, since our actual anniversary was stuck anchored out in the harbor in quarantine. We also got to sneak out to a few breakfasts in the morning while the kids were still asleep, and a lot of the places like the Radisson were completely deserted because of COVID still. After what seemed like an eternity waiting for the time to come to get the boat purchase steps rolling, it was finally time to get Knowhere to the boatyard and out of the water for a survey, which is kind of like getting a home inspection done on a house. Unfortunately, when being hauled, the boatyard did not follow the owner's instructions properly and put the lifting strap around the sail drive, which is the elbow-shaped propeller unit at the bottom of each hull. By lifting up, the engine mounts broke and the engine pushed inside the boat. You can see the missing sail drive here, unlike on the other side where it's still in place. Fortunately, they caught it quickly, repositioned the straps, and resumed hauling. The mounts needed to be replaced, as did the seal, but fortunately there was no major damage done, although it did add a week of boatyard time. That, though, gave us a chance to put a fresh coat of anti-fouling bottom paint on the boat. The survey itself went well, and it was time to drop the boat back in the water. Then it was time to go for a sea trial and try out all the systems at sea. You hire a survey to do both of these tests, and he came back with an extensive list, but found nothing out of the ordinary. So now it was time to wait, just one last time, for the money to get wired to the old owner. We used that time to sort out some last-minute projects on Bateau Soleil, even putting Pete up the mast, and our next video we get to move on to the new boat and do a shakedown cruise to Carriacou.